Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone, Saviors of Uldum, the first nerf patch has been announced. It's coming on Monday the 26th, and 5 cards are going to be changed. And the meta is going to change quite a bit. So in this video I want to take a look at what the nerfs are, and what does that mean for which decks, and what does that mean for the meta overall. First, let's start with the nerfs themselves. First up we have Conjurer's Calling. Twin spell, destroy a minion, summon 2 minions of the same cost to replace it. The infamous Mage swing card, going from 3 mana to 4 mana. To be honest, I think this nerf is a little bit behind schedule, because the heyday of Cyclone Mage kind of already went. Okay, this spell is used in a single copy in Highlander Mage, and should Highlander Mage suffer from something else, then Cyclone Mage could maybe make a comeback and this could become a major problem again. So okay, I'm fine with this. The Mage swing is slower. Mountain Giant Conjurer's Calling from Cyclone Mage is now coming in slower. And as for Highlander Mage, who never really had a reliable Mountain Giant Conjurer's Calling in the early game anyway, then Conjurer's Calling combos in the late game cost a little bit more mana. The buff to Luna's Pocket Galaxy is being reverted. It was buffed to 5 mana back in Rise of Shadows, and now it's being nerfed back to 7 mana. And at 7 mana the card saw very little play. It definitely does not fit into Cyclone Mage anymore, but does it still fit into Highlander Mage? After all, we saw that the performance of this card in Highlander Mage was tons ahead of its performance in Cyclone Mage. And you still have the Total Pilgrim, that if you can't find your Pocket Galaxy, Total Pilgrim can be a tutor for it and cast it for you. So it'll be interesting to see if this still sees play, if this is going to get cut entirely in favor of like putting back in Astromancers and things like that, going a little bit more on curve. The much awaited Dr. Boom nerf is here, and it's a bit of a disappointing nerf really. It's the classic Blizzard Hearthstone nerf. Let's change the mana cost of the card, and that will solve everything. As for Dr. Boom, yeah, it makes Dr. Boom more difficult to use, especially those sorts of mid-range matchups where Warrior was already having a bit of a hard time. Then finding time to actually play Dr. Boom is going to be extremely difficult. In aggro matchups, Dr. Boom coming in a little bit later might mean that the aggressive deck has more chances to win. And in control matchups, well, you will have 9 mana to spare at some point of the game anyway. And Dr. Boom is insane value still, so you probably still run this card in Control Warrior. Another buff that is being reverted is Extra Arms. Extra Arms was buffed from 3 mana to 2 mana. It gave Priest a little bit of something to do. Now it's being nerfed back to 3 mana. The official explanation is that this card was useful in its buffed state during Rise of Shadows, but no longer so in Saviors of Uldum, where Priest has more powerful tools. Basically, there were 2 ways that Combo Priest could have been nerfed. One way was to prevent the snowball factor of the Combo Priest, which is nerfing Extra Arms, which is what Blizzard chose to do. The other one would have been to prevent it from sticking a minion and just killing you if ever a minion sticks, which would have been nerfing the Divine Spirit. I'd like to see Divine Spirit go. Keep Extra Arms, allow Priest to snowball, allow Priest to play this sort of 2-game style without an imminent death to the opponent should anything stick on the board ever. But instead, Priest is now going to struggle a lot more against aggression, but if it ever gets anything on the board, then it will still just kill you immediately. And finally, something for the wild players. Barnes being nerfed from 4 mana to 5 mana. It's difficult for me to evaluate what this means for wild meta, but obviously Big Priest gets a little bit slower. But as for standard, what does this mean? It basically means that 3 decks are touched. Mage swing turns are delayed, Pocket Galaxy is perhaps going to be even cut from the decks. Warrior swing turn also delayed, and you can now, if you're playing a mid-range deck, you can even prevent them from ever playing Boom, because if you just pressure them enough, they just don't have the free mana available. And the Priest snowball, much more difficult. Combo Priest is going to suffer immensely because of that. In addition to the decks that were nerfed, then at the top of the food chain at the moment there were Murloc Paladin and Highlander Hunter. Neither of these were touched, so Murloc Paladin can still play the lens on 3 or 4 and still start jamming those tip the scales from turn 4 onwards. And yeah, so what's up with that? The decks that are now getting nerfed have been very effective at shutting down aggression, and with Murloc Paladin, Highlander Hunter, Murloc Paladin has that immense swing and it comes pretty early, but maybe it's now possible to play more aggressive decks, and maybe those aggressive decks are now able to raise a Murloc Paladin down. And Highlander Hunter has always had a bit of weakness against aggression, so it's possible that Blizzard is predicting that the meta will change towards more aggression, and that aggression is going to keep Murloc Paladin and Highlander Hunter in check. They still look pretty scary, especially the Murloc Paladin. Looking at matchups, one of the really big winners looks like to be Aggro Warrior, because Aggro Warrior is losing a lot of unfavorable matchups. It's going to have a field day, just mowing through stuff. Also, Quest Druid loves that Mage is getting nerfed. Quest Druid had immense problems against Mage, really difficult to deal with those multiple big minions all coming at once. That's just poison to Quest Druid. And with that out of the way, Quest Druid has much more room to breathe. You can run a fairly low curve list if needed with Pounces and Claws in order to fight against aggro, as long as you don't have to deal with multiple giants early on. Overall, quest decks get a little bit more room to breathe, so Quest Shaman, another interesting one. So with these nerfs, meta might be more sort of aggressive decks, mid-range decks, fighting each other. A little bit less of these super late game decks. Whichever way it's going to go, it's going to be really interesting to find out. And the nerfs, they are coming next week, on Monday. It's going to be good. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.